See what we got in the bans. It's Maokai, Nico, and Jax banned out by T1. BLG getting rid of Renata, Zaya, and the Rumble. First pick of this one will be Jarvan for Owner.
I like the Rumble ban here. Give Bin a little bit more freedom from this red side.
The Renata ban does suggest that maybe they're looking at an early Alistar or maybe even an early Nautilus. The Orianna being up, Yagao going to be grabbing that for himself. Having spoken a little bit more to Hysterics, one of the things I debated with him is BLG have felt a little slower in terms of their early game prowess, even in their series against LNG where they ended up falling short. Game 1, they were very dominant, but as the series went on, it felt harder and harder for them to find those early game advantages. And I did wonder, is it because of the shift in the mid lane meta where Yagao doesn't have as many mid laners to be able to unlock and roam around the map? And now that he's being put on the Orianna, I wonder if this favors a T1 where you do get to scale a little bit more and go for those team fights. But then again, BLG is one of the best team fighting teams in the world, so yeah, we'll see how T1 fare.
They certainly have looked their best when Yagao can just go help Bin and Elk in the side lanes, and Bin and Elk just go sicko mode on the game and duo carry it basically. But we shall see here as the Azir has picked up an answer to the Orianna. See if Faker also is a Hail of Blades Azir enjoyer. Seems like that has really been taking preference so far. And with Jax banned, guess what? Our triumvirate of the top lane. Ooh,
never mind.
Zeus, okay, Zeus with some pocket picks of, you know, Kennen, Jace, and Gnar possibilities. I like it into the Renekton because it's more of like, look towards later stages in the game, and T1 going to take a little bit long view.
It's also just like, it's such a good Zeus pick. He's such an incredible Gnar player.
I also always love it with Jarvan because Cataclysm into Mega Gnars, you get just more area to try and crash people into.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
How many power picks are on both sides here?
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, Rel, Orianna on the side of BLG, Azir, Jarvan. Obviously, we haven't seen a huge priority of Azir, but the Hail of Blades, Azir is something we saw from Showmaker very early in the tournament against Caps, and it's an ability, it gives you the ability, rather, to get push in that lane, out-trade the Orianna using your long range. So we'll see if Faker goes for that direction. But top side of the map has been a high priority. Of course, this Rel can still be flexed. So now the bot lane will be targeted, and unsurprisingly, BLG are going to start banning things away. The Alistar going to be taken away from Carrier. Don't think we'll see a Bard ban, but you've always got to be prepared for it in case Carrier chooses to bring that one out again.
All right, support, focus, man. The Alistar, the Rakan, like you're talking about. Are we going to continue with that here in this second part of the second half of the bans? Let's see, taking the time to think about it. No, getting rid of the Caitlyn instead, the long-range marksman power in the lane.
Makes a lot of sense. You think about long-range champs that often pair up with Azir. Ezreal and Caitlyn are two very prominent ones. Caitlyn also gives you a very strong bottom side of the map, and Gumayusi, he's been known for a pretty good Caitlyn performance here and there.
That's all right, yeah.
So definitely showing that respect towards him. Will T1 look to ban away further AD carries, or will they actually... Oh, they're going to choose to remove the Sejuani so that they can limit that Renekton Sejuani strong top side of the map.
So they've taken away a lot of the tanks, but not the Poppy. So they could go Rel plus Poppy and have a very, very strong front line. And the Poppy also could have pretty good W value versus all three of the T1 champions at the moment. But they want to jump on the Kai'Sa pick first, it looks like.
Oh, the Senna hover.
Oh, boy.
Give me more.
Inspired by North America, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, you know the classic NA inspiring Korea.
Yeah.
I think the last time that actually happened, and it was T1 picking up two, was all the way back to 2016 MSI. Aframu, exactly, for CLG.
Oh!
But hey!
Oh,
told you!
Shun's Nidalee.
Told you so! He can pull it out whenever he wants, baby! He has the card!
Yes.
You can pull the Nidalee card whenever you want if you are Shun, and it's with the Renekton, okay? The best combo with the Nidalee.
For those that don't know, that don't get to watch the LPL that much, Shun is a very well-known Nidalee player. This is one of his comfort picks, something that even earns respect bans domestically in the LPL. When they used it against LNG, I didn't love it. I wasn't a big fan of it. But let's see how it works out today against T1.
I mean, I'm a resident Nidalee hater. I feel like the champion can often run into a lot of difficulties, but the situation where it always works best is with guaranteed CC to set it up for the spears.
Renekton Nidalee.
Exactly. When it has something like Renekton, point and click, you can't really mess those up, and it makes it easy for the Nidalee to get in there and get the ball rolling, because she needs to stay ahead of the pace of the game. She needs to lead the way in terms of tempo. If she falls behind, she's a really cool ranged minion.
Yeah. I mean,
really cool, though.
She's a really difficult champion to play. You kind of want to get off the gate very early, stealing away camps, leveraging your mobility. You can bully a Jarvan. There's very little he can do against the Nidalee, but you need that priority in lanes, and I don't think T1's going to be looking to give it anytime soon.
This is why I love this team, though. BLG has so much swagger. They're always willing to pay these hard-to-execute picks. I want to see the early jungle path here and how aggressive he can take, because that top side of the map, that is BLG territory, okay?
I mean, Zeus versus Finn, a top lane matchup that I think everyone is excited to watch once more. These two players are some of the best in that role. And you can hear the support for T1. NA versus EU earlier the crowd was hyped. They were enjoying the games, but now the home crowd favorites, they're in the house.
It's always fun to hear those differences when there's one of the home teams that fans just love in the building.
And it's T1, man. Like the most popular team in the world.
Yep, exactly.
All right, a reminder, you can log into your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons. That's right now. It's live. Go do it, lolesports.com. But let's see how this early game is going to play out now, because I'm so interested in this Nidalee pick specifically. How do they enable it? How do they get it going?
So the beauty of what we get to see is we actually saw this bot lane matchup earlier in the G2 NRG series, and the range advantage.
Highest level.
The highest level,
yes, of course.
The range advantage that this center Tahm Kench does give you in the early game is that you can really have a lot of control in the bot side of the map. Interestingly, BLG going for a bit of a delayed invade here.
Yeah, Owner could be under pressure, as you can see. They see it marked with a spear. The three-man invade coming out from BLG, crash down. Not going to find anything other than the red buff. Now they're backing away. Red buff still at about 1,000 HP. Owner taking some damage, gets ignited, has to continue falling back. Shun still trying to find a little bit of poke here. They engage. Oh, nicely catching Owner out, but now Shun's going to back away. Owner with a flash out, trying to stay alive, but now Elk is under pressure, down to 100 HP. They're nearly going to kill him. It's first blood back over to T1. The invade crashes and burns. Now Shun has to try to get away. The flash is already down. Can he escape the power of the Kench? He's been hit with the lick, the flash of the wall. How many licks to the center of a Nidalee pop? It's only going to take one more. Shun falls. Keria grabs the second kill of the game for T1. And he ain't done yet. Gumayushi's coming in. Keria's got a red buff. On is continuing to be slowed. T1 may have just won the game in 2.5 minutes.
Oh, wow! On barely lives, but Keria is a monster!
Another knockup coming out as Elk. He shouldn't die here, but he's nearly going to be killed.
Goodness.
BLG thought they were being clever, and T1 smacked him right in the mouth.
We literally saw this matchup earlier, and once they get ahead, they become oppressive as all hell.
Yeah, we might have to throw out this data. I don't know. with the way that level 1 went, this is going to influence the stats.
Oh, it is. My goodness. The idea from BLG is to delay invade and believe that you can win out on the 3 versus 3. But the engage from on whiffs, his W from the rail actually collides with the wall, and once they don't have that initial damage, then T1 can just use the range advantage. They also got a bit of sustain coming out from Gumayushi. The Guardian from the Tahm Kench as well meant that in the extended fight, T1 came out ahead, and while Owner did lose his red buff, I think you can quite clearly say that this was worth it for T1.
Yeah, definitely so. And Faker, I believe he's the one who came first, even with the Conqueror not going with the Halo Blades mid-Azir. So definitely all things pointing towards T1 here. Now let's see, as it settles down, as it calms down, you have to keep track of all the summoner spells that were blown in it. If you had a plan previously coming into the game of top lane and looking towards Renekton plays and flash stunning into spear combos, you have to think about bottom lane now with so many people blowing their flashes.
Yeah, lots of stuff down. Are there any summoner spells still remaining? Gumayushi has his flash on, just about to get that ignite back up and ready to go. So plenty of vulnerabilities down here.
Shun able to secure the second crab. Bit of an engage.
There comes the Abyssal dive, but now the counterattack with the crash down. The spear goes wide. Gumayushi gets away, and now another counterplay coming out from Owner, but Carry is killed instead. BLG are on the board. The game's not done yet, boys.
Yeah, very smart. You have to pay attention to that bottom lane. They return to the scene of the crime, Vedius.
That they do.
More
They're looking for a dive. I think that with Owner and Gumayushi's very squishy here.
Gumayushi only 350 HP. Shun trying to tag him with the auto attack, slow him down first, but he misses the spear. Gumayushi can escape. Owner's back underneath the tier 1 turret. Remember, everybody's still only level 3, level 4. Owner jumps in,
Here
doesn't
comes
hit
Faker.
the knock-up, but now Faker's ready to clean these guys up. Level 5 Azir. There's some damage potential there, but Yagao's coming around behind him. Faker's gonna chase these guys out. They can disengage in time, but now Faker goes in after Yagao. He's got the higher DPS, so he'll try to use those soldiers a little bit. Man, what a crazy early game.
Yeah, I mean, some of these spears are reminding me of Kadrill's Lee Sin Qs, you know, with the direction that they're going
I
right
thought
now.
Yankos was the meme. Is
Oh,
Kadrill
no,
the meme?
I mean, Yankos has much higher hit accuracy than some of the Kadrill Qs in his history, but that's fine, that's fine. So we can see this initial play. The Q does go wide from Shun, and it's a good, promising engage from T1, but the re-engage from On, the spear goes wide, but it doesn't matter. Gumayushi's forced to flash. And admittedly, he doesn't have a huge amount of damage this early on in the game. We talked about how Nidalee can just bully a Jarvan out of the early jungle, and that's because of how much stronger she is in those early skirmishes. And while that EQ can look lethal, Nidalee in the extended fight will come out on top.
So it's 6 minutes into the game, and Shun also hasn't based, by the way, on this Nidalee. He's going to go for another clear. Raptors possibly into the Krugs as well for a big, big buy.
All right, no action again for now. Just a little bit of poking back and forth. This game has led us to believe that anything could happen at any point here in the first 6 minutes.
It's so funny every time we get into matchups like this and we're like, the top lane. Zeus versus Bin. Everyone's super amped to watch those two compete, and then we have a look at top lane. Dead even in farm. The lane is neutral. It's the team fights where we'll really see their impact, whereas the bot lane is where the chaos is rampant. Faker once again makes his way out onto the map, moving into that fog of war, creating that sense of pressure that Elk and On have to worry about. Jun has finally been able to base, has picked himself up a first key component.
Ooh, nice Mega Gnar into the wall there from Zeus, just trading aggressively with Bin, hops back into him at the crunch. Bin still getting away. Wallop doesn't hit, no more follow-up there. Of course, just trying to put as much damage into him as he can, with Bin still having both the flash and the dominance. There's not really any true kill potential there.
Yeah, also we just saw Owner go into the bottom side river to grab the crab and get that extra vision. So they know after the full clear from Shun, he's going to head back on down towards this bottom side. They saw him just grab that ward by mid lane. The mid laner's just been farming, so they're fine with all this, but they did get an alert, so both of them should know bottom side presence.
Now, we've seen a lot of early action, but credit to Owner. He's...
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Bot lane play.
Shattering strike, nicely done. Carrier forced to flash out of that one just to escape, but now they're looking for an angle with Owner. On still trying to get away, back into the river. Shun and Elk falling back to their own tier 1. They disengage in time. Owner can't get in there from an EQ.
So just a bit of testing the waters, you know, looking for an opportunity there. The flash being lost from Carrier. But the gold advantage still sits in tier 1's favor. Shun once again looking for something.
We're back. Both junglers.
They can't see it, right? If we get an opportunity to toggle that vision, that control ward is limiting that what T1 can see right now. Gumayushi has no mana.
Carrier just got 6 though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They're not going to take that fight anymore, and they're going to disengage. Herald and Dragon both up on the map. Both these teams have their eyes set on the bot lane, and it looks like no early objective going to come through.
Yep, Carrier just trying to jump forward, keep the pressure on here, use those tongue lashes to try to poke at these guys. We talked back when we saw this matchup the first time in the earlier series today. The sustain from the Senna creates such an obnoxious lane state to have to deal with. It's so easy to just constantly try to take these trades. If you're the Tom Kench, go up, trade tongue lash with something else. Eat a Void Seeker for a tongue lash. Senna's going to heal it off.
Gentlemen, how crazy, you know, you've already had your big upset today, but is it NA that's also innovated the bot lane meta? Have they found the answer to things like Xayah?
It might just be the energy special, man.
We'll take credit, yeah. I mean, it's for sure been getting scrimmed by a bunch of teams, but I'm down.
I saw NA play it first, Kobe. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm feeling in a good mood, so We'll accept all credit here. 4K health, though, on this Herald, and Shun is watching.
Yeah,
Okay.
6 hit by On.
Everybody's coming.
Yep.
Zaya's a little bit further, but Kaisa, but
It's a party. It's a party up here in the top side river. The Herald not going to be taken down just yet. They're going to smite it away. Owner picks up the eyeball. Everybody came to the party, but now we're all leaving to go do our homework. Keria finds a tongue lash onto Yagao. No more follow-up here just yet. Nice root coming out from Gumayushi. Now they're going to go in. There's the wombo combo. T1 ain't going to kill anybody just yet. Yagao barely gets away. Owner's ready to swoop in for the Cataclysm. And On gets turned off. Gumayushi flips the switch. And now Shun tries to fire back. Massive double kill over the top. Gumayushi is shooting straight.
Senna's gonna get some bans in the future. I can feel it. That is 3 kills all in the hands of Guma now. And T1, let's see. They're pushing topside. They're pushing mid as well with Elk. Trying to fish around. There's a ward on him, so he's not gonna be able to interrupt Faker here. Should be able to finish off the cannon and push that one in too.
That fight looked a little chaotic initially for T1. And you'll see here, once they go into the fight, like, the response from BLG is good. Like, yeah, the shockwave comes through, CCing Faker On with a response as well. Yeah. Owner's not in the fight yet. It's when Owner re-engages that it starts going in their favor. And I was worried for Gumayushi, stuck here on the front lines, but he had so much health back. And then he's able to disengage, find that snipe, and the crowd erupts here in Seoul.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how Guma ate the tankier member, ate Owner, and Guma's like, all right, fine, I guess I'm flashing out. But Gary's like, you know what? I'll be next to you more in the future in the game, so I'll be able to protect your flash.
Look at the gold here, picking up 3 kills in the bot lane, leading alongside Faker. They are identical right now. And he's only at 13 CS. The Senna doing wonders for T1.
Yeah.
Total damage. Zaya's topping those charts, but it's pretty easy to do when you're Gnar against a melee. Flashing forward. Mega Gnar into the wall. Wallop, rock toss. One more hit will do it. Zaya's solo kills. Bin.
This ain't no finals, okay?
This ain't no finals. Zayas is locked in. BLG are trying to respond, but they may be getting collapsed on.
Yeah, Keria comes in with the Abyssal Dive. They're ready to reinforce Owner and make sure that he doesn't get jumped by the members of BLG that were looking for a play. Void Seeker not going to really do a whole lot here as T1 can just walk it off.
I really do want to put more emphasis onto Zayas, though. He did so much work when T1 had such a hard year losing Faker for so long. Really, Zayas was doing overtime trying to keep them together, and very, very good recovery from this team to be able to make it through playoffs, make it here to Worlds, and especially on these types of picks for Faker, the Azir, the Nico, definitely their comfort zone.
I mean, T1 have just set themselves up fantastically. Elk in a bit of danger.
They're looking for another one. Keria goes in for Elk, forces him to try to play defensively. Guma has so much range, so much damage. Elk is going to get rooted up. He pops the cleanse to escape that ulti.
Nice play there from Guma, really leveraging the range to his advantage and bullying this Kaisa out On trying to respond.
It's so difficult to do when the Tahm Kench is right there with the Devour ready for the save. If On would have committed, they could have immediately countered there with Keria, no problem. Rift Herald summoned up here. They're looking for plates, and I don't think BLG's gonna stop them. Already grabbing that first one. There's another one going over with the charge. Don't think they quite have enough damage to get the fourth after the extra resistances have been added, so they'll walk away from that. But it's a 2,500 gold lead for T1.
Guma found like 10 stacks in that single skirmish. He was just constantly hitting onto his opponent.
Yeah, I just clicked on the souls to try and check in, and he's already 49 right now. It's kind of a shooting gallery down there in the bottom lane with so much action starting from level 1.
And in the context of this comp, Zayas, he's going for another kill. Okay, no, he's going to show restraint. He did have a 2-level lead. I really thought he'd look for the dive. I guess he doesn't have full information yet, but you look at these little wards in the enemy jungle. Moving the wrong mouse. You can see these just littered to get a bit of information as to where Shun is, giving Zayas the freedom to play as aggressively as he wants. But let's look back at this solo kill.
And he's doing so well because Gnar's going to turn into such a powerful split push and teamfight presence for Team 1. I believe, too, for live right now, I wonder if there's a picture-in-picture we can see for the Dragon setup, because T1 are in a really prime position to start setting up the objectives. When you're getting Zayas solo kills like this, when you're winning team fights, well, there you go.
There it is.
Revealed. Yes, easy setup for them, as expected. Dragon number 1. It's decently late into the game, but they should be able to snowball pretty effectively.
Their position around the Dragon is dead.
Yeah.
Nice position to have when you're looking to get the
That's
game
what I was
snowballing
expecting.
forward.
I guess we didn't need the picture-in-picture pop-up to confirm.
So coming into this series, I look back at all of T1's games, and against TL, they had a difficult early game. They couldn't really do much. Against Gen G, they actually had a pretty solid early game, but then it was the team fights where they ended up falling short. And then against Cloud9, they ended up looking incredibly clean from start to finish. And it feels like throughout this tournament, they have just been ramping up, as they often do when they come to international events. You know, this team in the group stage has their worst record ever is 5-1. They only lose a game.
Wow, that must be so horrible.
I was told this is a Swiss stage, not a group stage.
My point is, though, that this team has already lost once to Gen G, and they are saying we're not losing anymore.
That's the roof.
That is the roof. And coming into this series, they are looking strong. Their early game is looking good, but BLG are known for their team fighting, their ability to play the 5v5s, but with the gold advantage continuing to grow, it might not matter, as T1 is in a fantastic position.
I mean, T1's still stinging from MSI. They want revenge over BLG for that elimination. BLG taking them 3-1 and kicking them out. So definitely have a bit of an axe to grind on their side. Let's all remember, too, the level 1 that started out this game. Definitely, that was a lot of variance in that level 1. And this is going to be a long series.
And you bring up the fact that they were eliminated by BLG back at MSI. Remember, this is not an elimination game here today. It is a promotion game. You guarantee a spot in the quarterfinals if you win this one, but the loser will still go on to play in that last chance set of games tomorrow. 3 best of 3s back to back to back. Show's going to be starting a little earlier, so make sure you tune in. 5 a.m. CET, 9 p.m. PST. But T1 now being challenged in this topside river as BLG move in to control the Rift Herald around the spawn of the second one. They don't want to lose out on more neutral objectives here.
Faker has TP, but I like the look of that bottom push. They should just buy time for Faker. Push that wave all the way in.
Yep, just waste as much of BLG's time as they can. Keria and Gumayushi are so annoying to deal with right now. The Senna has so much range, and you pretty much got to throw enough at him to overcommit to him twice because of the save from the Kench.
Yeah, so annoying. I mean, the Tahm Kench constantly just walking up into your face, bullying you off. And it looks like that's going to be all that they need, with Bin going to answer that bottom wave. T1, they rotate Faker over to mid and collect another objective, simultaneously taking the Rift Herald and mid lane.
Just beautiful stuff from T1 here in this first game in the best of 3. Objective bounties are available soon. That lets you know the state of the early game here. Just 17 minutes in, and we've already got ourselves what looks to be a 4,500 gold lead.
I mean, I'm just looking at that comp as well, and from my perspective, this feels like a very difficult game for T1 to lose. Like, they have such a massive range advantage. Senna is one of the best scaling champions in the game, period. And when you pair that up with an Azir, you know, we talked about earlier some examples of long-range champions, Caitlyn, Ezreal, 2 really strong long-range champs that work so well at playing front to back. Senna works in the exact same way, and her range is only going to get longer the longer that this game goes on. So I feel like BLG are going to have to find some miracle fight or a big throw from T1 to be able to turn this one around.
Yeah, and when your Gnar is solo killing and has a ginormous lead over the Renekton,
oh yeah,
that is going to be a lot more useful.
Yeah, like you have no options in the side lane. You feel like your team fight options are limited. The push, like you can't contest it anywhere.
That's why they picked Nidalee and went for a level 1
T1 are in a commanding position right now. They've caught bot, they've pushed that in. They've caught mid, they've pushed that in. You look at top as well, Faker having some cover from Ona. This was where we saw some blunders from them against Gen G. Gen G found some great windows to punish Faker when he was pushing in these side lanes. And he has been left isolated for the time being.
Yeah.
But he's going to play safer as a response.
Yeah, and so much safer, too, for the Azir in those matchups on the side lane. With Dragon coming 30 seconds and Faker still having his teleport. I don't know exactly how many seconds left on Yagao's and how that's going to match up with the Dragon, but it probably should be up by Dragon time or pretty close.
15 seconds until that Drake. It is important to remember what you noted earlier, Kobe. It was a pretty late first one, so it's not going to be a fast soul stack even if they go 4-0. But you know that BLG doesn't want to allow them to just continue taking everything on the map for free. It is still a 5K gold advantage, though. It's so hard to take a fight in open ground, especially when T1 already have priority over this bot lane river real estate. Zeus is in position in the bottom lane. He's pushing up. Faker is back on the other end of the map, pushing up topside, but he's got his TP ready to go to join.
Oh, he's joining.
Yeah,
all
he's
right.
ready.
Here comes the fight. BLG feel like they need this.
All right, keep your eyes on. That rel engage would need to be absolutely nasty to win a 5K deficit team fight. Instead, they're going to decide against it. BLG will walk off, having watched T1 take the Drake.
I mean, BLG were kind of in our position, just acting as spectators on that dragon. They didn't even try to cross map anywhere. They didn't even try to do anything elsewhere on the map. They just wanted to try and find a fight, and T1 gave them no angles. Absolutely none. They were funneled into that choke point. BLG didn't even try to get push in bot and then access via the river that way, because I think they were so scared of Zeus with the pressure that he was generating. Like, all 3 towers are up. They have full control over the map. A 5K gold lead. BLG are running out of answers, and they're running out of answers quickly.
Yeah, I feel like they got draft gapped, they got level 1 gapped, they got top gapped, they got bottom gapped. There's gaps everywhere, but
Yes, so many gaps.
so many.
I don't know if there's a word for that, a collection of gaps.
The whole game is a valley right now. We have found our way into quite a gorge here, gentlemen.
A great word, an excellent word.
Yeah,
I
one of the
mean,
ones you don't get to hear too often.
at this point, T1 can start playing around the Baron. They don't have the fastest Baron. I mean, of course, with the Zia, it's never going to be the slowest. But I guess right now they're looking to play for that tier 1 in the top side of the map. They want to try and move their vision, get control over mid, and then start threatening that tower. But BLG are pretty committed to defending it. They do, of course, still have Zeus' TP. They could look for a play with that. But here we are. They're looking to chip away at this tier 1.
Well, those chips are going to be pretty intense once the Herald
Here
has
comes
its
the
way with the
hammer.
turret. There it goes. Yep, just immediately smashes that thing down. 3-0 now in the turret count. T1 absolutely owning the Rift in this first game. Keria takes a bit of damage, but he doesn't care. It's so easy to just keep using this Kench as a brick wall. Herald's going to get ready for the second charge. Kaboom! It connects. And because they were able to move so far forward up in the jungle, mirroring that same progression in the top lane with the Herald, they pushed their opponents all the way back, took control of the enemy jungle, exfiltrated safely.
But it's not even just that. Look at the bot lane as well. Zeus keeping this pressure up, controls the bot side jungle too, has that control ward. There is that single ward for a potential TP flank, but that isn't an option for Yagao right now. And T1, they controlled the top side, they control the bot side, they're replenishing their wards, they're spending their money. 2 items now finished for Faker. A second in the works for Gumayushi.
Yeah.
And everything looking up for T1 here in the game 1 of this series.
It's just so incredibly hard for BLG to find a time to fight because you're down on these item power spikes, but also it doesn't get better for you if you wait. But there's a pick!
Zeus getting jumped on. They're throwing the kitchen sink at him. Beautiful shutdown from BLG.
That's the wrong side of Summoner's Rift, buddy. Little Mininar wandering into the dark forest here. That's the time to go for it for BLG. Yeah. But really, what can they get with that pick? I mean, it's so difficult even with getting a person advantage because your side lanes are both constantly pushed in by T1, so they don't really have objectives to go for, and they're even under attack as T1 continue to push in 4v5.
Shun's health just brought down a half after Gumayushi laid his sights on him. 4 members actually putting pressure on the BLG. Faker with the damage.
Yep, Faker now disengaging alongside Owner. They don't want to end up getting caught in too lopsided of a fight before their allies can move over and reach them. They do crash the wave into the mid lane tier 2. None of those tier 2 turrets yet demolished. Remember that top lane tier 2 was the one that took the damage from the Herald, so it's still pretty low. Backing away now is on the Hex Flash, finds Owner, forces out the flash from the Jarvan. That's a big summoner spell.
That could have been lethal. If he had died there, that's a Baron start for BLG. And even though they find themselves behind, it's worth the risk, especially when you're not playing against the Smite's Owner. Needs to be careful, but he will get away with his life for now. T1 continue to play the patient game. We're going to look back at this pick from Zeus. You just have to look at the minimap. He's overextended. He shouldn't have been there. The rest of his team were nowhere near. There's nothing that they can do to punish elsewhere on the map. And just a mistake from Zeus.
Even the best make them sometimes, but T1 is still enjoying an incredibly favored game state. You can see the goal difference over time presented by AWS, just showing how it's been this up and to the right movement in that blue line for T1 ever since the very beginning of what you mentioned earlier, Kobe, kind of an aberration of a level 1.
Yeah, and the only reason we're not going to see T1 go turbo mode and continue to push is because they also have the luxury, you know, of this late game. So there's no reason for them to risk anything versus BLG, who have been able to work miracles out of other teams rushing fights towards them. So they'll continue on stacking those dragons, even though it is a little bit of a delayed pace. Maybe we see the point where Zayu's priority on his split push on the side lane, bottom lane, does result in a setup for the Baron, but I think only in a very secure setup would T1 actually go for that. T1 have pretty good turn off of the Baron, so after collecting Dragon, they might try and turn their resources towards that, do a 4-1 split push, and whoa, never mind. BLG fight now.
Shun just goes over the wall, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to be there anymore. Flash back away just to escape from Zeus's Gnar. It's sole point at 24 minutes for T1.
I mean, I'm getting a little frustrated with BLG because, like, they should just be trying to cross-map. They should just be using multiple members topside to, at the very least, get some bounty gold back. Because you're in a situation where if you feel like you need to force a fight, then trying to funnel through that choke point at blue, that's the second time you've now tried to do that, and T1 have just made fun of you. So I feel like that BLG, if they do want to come back into this, they need to be finding other things on the map rather than just running face first into T1.
Well, they're running into him again here as they try to find something. Once to owner Gumayushi, not going to get anything back. And as Gumayushi just keeps farming all these souls, building that range like you were talking about earlier, Vedius, every single one of these attempted steps up is going to become more and more punishing as you take more and more Senna shots in trade. Bin going in, looking for Zeus. Mega Gnar back onto both targets. Elk tried to swoop in there, catch him off guard with a killer instinct, and Zeus just walked away from it.
They opened a window mid.
All right, they're going to be able to push at least half of it. BLG, this is the moment.
All right, TP coming in. They want to try to stop this, find a punish. Knock up on two coming out from owner. Gumayushi looking to disengage back up towards the top side of the jungle. TP coming in now. T1 regrouping. Low health bars on BLG.
Zeus is taking towers right now. Zeus did not join. T1 said, we're fine without you, buddy.
All right, Bin is low. Still lots of free firing damage coming out from Gumayushi. Remember, there is no ulti available for Alcon. Goes in, finding a Magnet Storm onto 3, but he ain't gonna find any kills just yet. On is gonna die first. They take out the jungler second. Bin ain't gonna get it. Shun is down. T1, run them over.
The range is lethal from T1. 4 versus 5. BLG just can't even get close to T1. And when they finally do, Carrier devours his mid laner and brings him back into the fight to wreak havoc. Carrier, he's not done.
Oh no, he even stops Bin's recall. If he gets this croc here, there it is. Abyssal dive takes him out. And critically, this means his respawn is now desynced from the rest of the team.
The lick hit confirm on the W. Tom Kench claims another. Let's take a look, because look at the mini-map during this replay. Honestly, while T1 are taking care of business, really good Cataclysm into EQ out there from owner, the Gnar is just taking towers on bottom side, and then they make the call with this ward here. Teleport in, they go for the turn. T1, they turn it around. Red buff is picked up, Carrier goes in. The shockwave doesn't do much damage at all. I mean, it's just a massacre.
Bin's not even really in the fight either. They didn't have ultimate for him or for Kai'Sa because of the play they tried to make in the bot lane. And then Carrier is able to find is able to find this kill onto Bin. Just a one-sided stomp from really beginning to end from T1. That was the only promising opportunity that BLG was able to find, and T1 handled it with calm patience. And now with the Baron, they're looking to siege.
All right, let's see how long this base can stand. Top lane tier 3 turret is already down, so there's an open inhib available if T1 just want to rush it. They still got this power play for Baron from another minute and 40 seconds. The minions will do enough work on the inhibitor here on the top side themselves. Zeus about ready to transform. Magnet Storm was used for a whole lot of nothing. Owner's got Yagao locked down, but Owner's going to drop instead. They'll trade him back for the mid laner, and Shun falls too. Now it's 2 inhibitors down and a 4v3 for T1. The souls are all over the place, but they're the souls of BLG players as T1 is not stopping here. Elk may have been the one to take out Owner, but now the push just keeps going. Zeus will grab another on Bin as Elk has the killer instinct right back into his own fountain. He flashes away just to live. T1 just stomped BLG in game 1.
Gary is having fun too.
Oh, he is. I mean, from start to finish, what a great performance from T1. We talked about it earlier in the cast, but